Red Kachina, Terral, Blackstar, Astronomer, Deathlist, Insider Exposes, Revelation Events, Leak Project. Part 2 of the Terral Blackstar podcast.
There is no force on our planet that can do this. This must come from the outside. And the subatomic particle flow must be from another star. Must be. So there's evidence like this has convinced me that there is something out there. There's no way that the elite is going to get out there in a spaceship and send and turn on the turbo blasters and cause our magnetosphere to turn around like this. And then to use this evidence and then see Earth in the similar position in 4 years. It's funny you mentioned that 4 years because Mars is in the right position every 4 years too, to have its dust storms just like it did as we predicted with the magnetosphere doing this. So as long as there's evidence that's like this, the seismic pattern, the historical precedent, I mean, just those three things is enough evidence for me. But there's a lot more. There's a lot more evidence than that. You guys can see the strangeness of what's going on with the governments. Things are getting crazy. It's like a full moon all the time out there. This is the reason why. So this is an explanation. There's where the Bioshock is supposed to be, and there's what it is. So
all this information is amazing, and I want you to make. I know it's hard, and I know that you don't know, and nobody knows, and I appreciate that you have, the ability to not make exact predictions because it's very difficult. But does the Earth have over or under 5 years before
under for sure?
So you're saying 100% less than 5 years?
Absolutely. This thing moved 12 degrees left in the orbit diagram. It has to be very close to do that. An object that's very, very far away that's coming towards us is going to be in the same constellation for a long time. When it starts moving through constellations, moving left this quickly, prograde fashion, then time is short. Now, the fact that it made that 3-degree move last year, then if we divided that by what's left over, it would give us 3.5 years from right now. So that's a possibility. But
well, when do you think?
I just have to go by the data. I'm following the science. I'm not creating dates. I'm following the science and building the predictive model. Go ahead.
Right. So, but when do you think, in your opinion, and obviously, again, this is just your opinion, but when do you think we will start seeing movement from, higher, quote unquote, ruling elite powers, the Bilderbergs, the Rothschilds, the Illuminati, whatever, that will indicate that it's impending?
I don't think you're going to have that opportunity because their fail-safe, before they make their move, their fail-safe is going to be implemented. And that's when you're going to hear contagion. That's when you're going to see there's going to be quarantine. You're not going to be able to drive like you want to and move around places that you want to. You're going to be extremely limited whenever they execute their fail-safe. You're going to be too busy trying to protect yourself and your family to worry about what they're doing. That's going to be the plan. You're going to be, it's like a magician's trick. He's going to have you looking at the pretty girl while he's over here doing the trick.
So you don't think they would just start World War III in lieu of that, and then that would be the backup plan, the contagion, or do you think the contagion is just optional?
Suppose that could be that could help them get rid of the military contingent that they're not taking with them.
Right.
Because the worst thing that happens is you emerge, and then there's a large military contingent that you didn't take care of, and now you got to fight them after you come out of your hole in the ground.
Right. I mean, that's what Gerald's prediction is. Gerald's prediction is that World War III starts before any of this, before it shows up, and blah blah blah, because it's easier to reduce population in that regard too. So.
Very near whenever they're going to leave, though, because bad things can happen with the war, with the type of the war you're talking about, especially talking about nuclear war. So they're going to want to limit their threat. So you're going to be occupied just like the magic trick. They'll occupy you, and then they're going to be heading for the hills. I don't think you're going to ever see them. You're not ever going to be able to see them leave. These people are too smart.
But I guess my last question, and we're actually going to get the last word here, is I guess I still just don't see. I know you're a survivalist. I know that, the elites plan on going into their underground cities. I mean, if the world is destabilized, again, climactically, it's not a breathable air. The atmosphere is, contaminated for decades after. I mean, are they planning on living underground forever? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
That's because you're creating a more dramatic scenario than the way that it's going to be, especially with the help that they're going to have from their friends.
I got you. So you're saying that underground people will be underground less than a year?
Absolutely. 6 months. I figure for a year, but likely it's going to be less than that. In the evenings, you're going to be able to come out more. And that's at least what I'm counting on with my survival situation, my survival scenario, to be able to do your foraging, hunting, gathering, right, traps, things like that. But I don't think you're going to be wanting to run around in the daytime. Now, Mad Max is going to be a big threat late in the timeline. People that are not prepared, people that are living hand to mouth, those are going to be your biggest threats.
Right. All right, man. Well, I'm on your newsletter list, so you better. Hopefully, I get warned. I get a preeminent strike email letting me know I need to get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, you will. Just keep up with the reports. Even if people just go to my YouTube channel, I mean, that's free, then a free link to each newsletter goes in the description box of all of my updates that come out on Thursdays. So at least they can get a hold of the newsletter. If you can't support, if you don't have $25 a year, then share my videos and help to get other people maybe to support the research. And I appreciate you guys having me on. And
awesome. Well, we appreciate you.
Yeah, let me just say something real quick if I could. I wanted to thank you, Terral, because I appreciate you spending this time with us. I know you're very busy, and you brought some great information to the table. You know, we kind of put you on the spot a couple times there. And one of the things that I really appreciate, at least about the research that I've done and with Leak Project and just how I think, I appreciate everybody's beliefs. You know, I mean, if you are bringing something to the table that is beneficial, if your heart's in the right place, I don't have to agree with everybody about everything. As a matter of fact, I don't know anybody in the world that I agree with all the time. And I think it's nice to have those opportunities and, you know, maybe conversations about different things, because we can also come up with a formula and then maybe come up with an even better solution. So, you know, it's just great to speak with you, and I appreciate it. I do want to recommend, for those that have a chance to listen to this podcast, if you haven't been to leakproject.com, make sure to go to leakproject.com, because we have exclusive content there, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/clandestine time lord. But hopefully, Terral, I'll have the opportunity to speak with you again sometime.
For sure.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you guys very much again.
Yeah, Terral, you're a really highly educated guy. We really appreciate your time. And again, thank you so much for coming on the show, and we'll be in touch.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome, brother. Take care.
Thank you so much. Nibiru, latest, Planet X, Nemesis, Wormwood, Red Kachina, Terral, Blackstar, Astronomer, Deathlist, Insider Exposes, Revelation Events, Leak Project. Part 2 of the Terral Blackstar podcast.
There is no force on our planet that can do this. This must come from the outside. And the subatomic particle flow must be from another star. Must be. So there's evidence like this has convinced me that there is something out there. There's no way that the elite is going to get out there in a spaceship and turn on the turbo blasters and cause our magnetosphere to turn around like this. And then to use this evidence and then see Earth in the similar position in 4 years. It's funny you mentioned that 4 years, because Mars is in the right position every 4 years too, to have its dust storms just like it did as we predicted with the magnetosphere doing this. So as long as there's evidence that's like this, the seismic pattern, the historical precedent, I mean, just those three things,